what I want to talk about in today's video is the idea of this spiritual awakening and the concept of losing oneself, going into the void, and attaining this enlightened state, and somehow that being the deepest level of experience, or what the human soul is essentially here to transfer its consciousness or ascend past the three-dimensional aspects of the body. And how this idea of losing oneself into the oneness, into the void, into this universal consciousness is often taught as this highest level of attainment that consciousness can reach. But what I want to remind you of is that being incarnated into a body, being here on earth, having the experience of a life is such a valuable gift in and of itself. And when we lose ourselves essentially too much in this idea of transcending the body, transcending the experience, transcending the lifetime, we actually completely miss the mark of why we're here. Fundamentally, we are here to experience, enjoy, be captivated by everything that is material, including ourselves, others, our interaction with material, with matter, with the three-dimensional world. And that is the most beautiful gift of what creation is. So shifting the mindset from this idea that we need to transcend, that we need to escape ourselves to somehow come home, is not really the core principle that we're here to unravel. Yes, fundamentally, we are always going to be our core selves. We are always going to contain and remain anchored to the eternal, because the eternal is all pervasive. But we don't want to lose the experience. We don't want to sell the experience down the river for this idea that we have to get out, that we have to get off the wheel of karma, that somehow this experience that we're having in this time-space reality is somehow not good enough, or something that is distorted. Yes, from a fundamental aspect, if we look at the universal oneness, there is a certain level of distortion that exists within the plane or the dimension of three-dimensional space. But there is an incredible beauty in the state of remembering our connection to the divine, the oneness, the unity consciousness. And once we sort of retethered ourselves to that, one of the most beautiful things that we can do, and one of the most joyful things that we can do, is allow ourselves to move back into the flow and kind of get lost in the adventure of the three-dimensional world. That's half the fun of it. So really remembering that if you're on a stage where you've gone through a bit of a spiritual awakening, if it's been a little bit jarring, if it's been a little bit unsettling, and then you're trying to figure out how to reintegrate yourself into life, with a more open mindset, with the fact that your consciousness has been expanded, there's been a remembering of this eternal nature, it doesn't mean that one should stop living. And I think that this is something that a lot of spiritual teachers run into, is this space where they've reacclimated themselves with this with the void, with the silence, with that gentle energy that is the divine creative energy. But in that void, they forget that everything that springs forth from that non-physical realm is a gift. It is creation. It is the purpose behind everything that we experience. And, whether or not there are alternate dimensions, other planets, other solar systems that have life, other universes, we need to remember that even in our seeking journey, there's nothing wrong with seeking. There's nothing distorted in asking these questions. But if we start to detach ourselves so much from the experience of what we are here and what we are living, we can kind of go into a spiritual depression, a loss of knowledge of our true core frequency, and a disillusionment of life itself. And part of our own rebirth and recognition is that we have to re-enter as a spiritual being, as an awake being. We have to re-enter this aspect of loving life, falling in love again with the process of living and experience and adventure, the unknown. And that's really that core thread of the beauty of everything, is the mystery, is the unknown. Not knowing what the next moment holds is the beauty that is existence. So I'm not going to make this a really long video, but if this is something that you're grappling with, if you have gone through this expansion in your consciousness, this awakening or many awakenings, and at times you feel yourself somewhat disassociated with the world, if you feel like it's even difficult to find your own old self, that's part of the process. But in coming home, we do need to recognize that who we are is also part of our home, that this stage of living, this particular life, the moments that we're living in now are extremely beautiful, and we don't want to discount that or not really immerse ourselves in the current experience of living. Okay, have a great weekend, guys, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.